Good afternoon. Today is Friday. It is, what is today? 17th, I believe. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But today we are in the Green Mountains, and today we are basically doing something a little different. We're going to be doing an overnight camping thing tonight. So the video probably is going to end up being a little bit of hiking, a little bit of a rambling fireside chat, maybe. We'll see where that happens. Maybe something will get called in to visit us. We have couple of minor items to field test, so I'm looking forward to that. And there's also the I don't know if I've actually severely, I got a pair of new night vision goggles last year. I don't know if I ever was able to actually put them to the test beyond a point, so we'll put them through their paces as well. So that's going to be the plan. We are going to do a little preliminary hike. We are kind of sort of in the outer reaches of number 3's backyard, and we'll see if there's any sign of him about. And beyond that, it's hovering around 62, 63, so it's pleasantly cool. But later on, we're going to be in that space of time when up here it's like more fall than it is summer. So we're going to have a fire going and be dressed a little bit warmer. You have to plan for like the 2-season thing now. So we're doing that, and we're going to hit it's not really a trail. We're going to go along the edge of a wetland and see what we can find along there and see if there's a way in to get deeper, and we'll take things from there. That's why I like this site. You're like right up on the wetland. You can kind of take advantage of an easy access. So we're going to do that and get going. Thanks. Okay, so after a little bit of minor issues with the camera, we are going to, one, express some freaking profound dislike for crap campers who litter and leave shit in the woods, because that's just downright annoying. So I try not to kill myself moving through this area. Not sure what that is, if anything. Looking at a muddy spot, basically this. This down here, this stuff. Probably nothing, but anyway, we're going to try to parallel through this along the large wetland I was referring to before and see what we can discover in here. I'm also trying, probably in vain because it was raining a lot before, to keep from getting wet, because it is going to get cooler later. That may prove to be easier said than done. So let's see how we can do here. And let's see. It's very, very uneven ground in here, so trying to do this later in the dark may be very disadvantageous. Let's get out here more in the open and see what, if anything, we can accomplish. You step right out and there's some kind of poo right there. Not sure what that is, but poo of some sort. Let's see if we can actually walk out into the grass here without... Areas like this are notorious for like just turning into water real quick, but this is what we're walking into. And yep, right into swamp, so I might go back into the wood. Yep, there you go. I'm already taking on water. The joys of wetlands. Let me, wouldn't mind getting to the other side of this, but I'm not going to do it from here. I'm going to go back into the wood line rather, and see if there's an easier access point than this bumpy, swampy POS that I'm currently in. Yeah. The fire will dry out my feet later, but whatever. Back into the bumpy undergrowth. Go back around these trees over here and see if I can go over that way. If not, we will effing grabber bushes. I loathe them so very much. I do. I absolutely cannot put into human terms how much I freaking cannot stand their self-insistent annoyance that they represent when trying to do this kind of a thing. These things right here, they suck and they need beatings. So it's muddy and grabby and such, but at least I can make some progress. But I don't really. There's another spot down the way actually where I can attempt to get into, and that's what I think I'm going to do, because this is all swampy right here. I don't really feel like, again, with it being cooler, I'm going to want to minimize the soakage I get. But we're gonna, okay, so first attempt, already trying to grab me, you son of a bitch. First attempt at this is Forest 1, me 0. A couple of other things we can do and try. But stop and look at this for tracks real quick. I don't really see any though. So we're going to head back up and around and try this couple hundred yards away from here where you have a larger expanse of wetland too. Maybe I'll work my way around the side of that and make some progress. This section right here frankly sucks. I just hit a minor sinkhole. So yeah, we're going to do that. We are going to take a segment break and go around this tree and come back when we have a better approach. We'll be back. All right, we're back. This is going to be, I guess, take 2. More grabber shit. Same kind of terrain. We're going to try to triangulate down to the, basically if this was like a big, god damn, I hate these things. Like a big U shape, basically we're on the other end of the U going in, and hopefully it's going to be easier going on this side. If not, potentially we can get into trees over that way. Not probably close enough to the wood line to see exactly, ow, right in the eye, thanks, what I'm pointing at, but maybe I can get over that way from there. This is an area where I've heard wood knocks and things before. Like I said, I have had a track find on the other side where we started out. It's never easy getting into these damn things. Okay, let's see. I guess we're going to go around that big tree right here and then down. Yeah, let's see where we are. If nothing else, maybe a night sit. If I could get around this and look down there, I could see if I'm walking in the water or not and save myself a trip or not. Let's see. Sorry. Yep. Nothing but water. So we are not going to walk all the way through here and soak ourselves with cooler temps coming in tomorrow. So we're going to try to go around the wood line, see what we do in there. And let me walk back through all these lovely grabber things. Oh, you son of a bleepity. Goddamn, I hate these things. Just wrecked some poor spider's house. Hope you guys are happy. Sorry, I'm fumbling with stuff. Okay, so I'm going to do a segment break here and get back up. I'm going to trim the side entrance. I'll be back. I fucking hate this area. Okay, we're back. Let's try this a third time. The second time, again, crappy water all around. This actually looks fairly wide open, so I can kind of go in, and being that it's muddy, you can find potential tracks. Should number 3 or anyone else that I've not run into before be in the area. And we'll do a little bit of this, and then a little bit north of here, there is a snowmobile trail that is probably not overly used right now. We could probably walk up that and see, look for signs of life maybe. I'm not going to go all out today though, because like I said, today's as much about camping as it is hiking, so we'll do a little bit of this. The wetland is down that way. We're probably about 100 feet in the woods. Interesting tree break right there, although nothing proof-like, but if it's going to be like this kind of low yield potential for results, though, I might just kind of save the camera for fireside chat or whatever later. Although I could probably use the phone for that just as easily. I'm just kind of get a timestamp on the afternoon right now. It is 2:30. And sorry. So let's go in here a ways. Kind of, this is what the track surface is looking like. So it's fairly wide open. The ground's a little drier, which I'm fine with. We'll have a look about. Looks like I can kind of angle over to where what looks like it opens up to the wood line of the wetland over there, so I can get a vantage point there maybe. See what we can see cutting through these short little pine trees. We seem to have lost the jerry bird that we had before. A jerry bird, I don't know, it's some kind of a songbird, but it's got it's a one-word vocabulary. Jerry! And it keeps making that noise, so I call it a jerry bird. While I'm rambling and exploring this little pocket over here, interesting mushroom for a mushroom aficionados. This guy right here. The camera's not really getting it. Maybe it looks better when I look at it later, but it's really bright, like yellow-orange for mushroom, because I know a few people that are mushroom geeks, and just as the forest nag in me, if you don't know what the mushroom is, don't eat it. It might kill you. Just a little healthy advice. Same thing with berries. You don't know what they are, they might kill you. I have a field guide in mushroom identification, actually, and even the ones that won't kill you won't necessarily do good things for you. There's one, it spikes your urine with minerals, and you basically piss red for about a week, at least a couple of days. And although they claim it's harmful, is it real? I mean, it's harmless, is it really? You have minerals in your system going through your private bits and doing things that change normal things into different colors. So, I mean, is that really, how good is that for you, really? I believe that to be a fair question. So, excuse me. It's 2:30 now. Let me do a little brainstorming while I'm making my way through this little park of the forest. So I bop around here, maybe go up the trail a little bit, go back and get camp started, and then we can think like campfire and see if we can draw something in, because based on what I've seen of the landscape, well, if Biggie doesn't mind getting his feet wet, he'd go in through the water, through the wetland, because I have camped here before and had a bear approach the camp from the wetland. Fortunately for me, he missed dinner and I didn't have to like leave and give up the campsite to the bear, because I saw him the next day and he's fairly big. But that being said, this open area, you could probably cover some ground and come in, at least listen in on what I'm doing, to the satisfaction of your curiosity if you're a big people watching hairy person. Is there anything really going on in Bigfooting this week? Just people, I guess people in certain groups showing their true colors as to what they believe in. And you know what? This hat is like a good hat, but it's perfectly useless for keeping your sunglasses on your head. This is going to start to irritate me. You know what? They go in my pocket so I don't deal with it. It's getting to be annoying. So let's make our way down to the tree line here, see how this section fares with the other one. If it's all watery. It probably is, just because of the amount of rain. It was raining this morning and these areas are like big sponges basically, but yeah, I find it funny when somebody calls themselves an agnostic and then you can just listen to them for 2 seconds and tell they just don't believe at all. But as long as there's some way to profit from or otherwise exploit the subject, they will. So the question begs itself, quintessential beaver dagger right here. That thing right there. Does that make them really any better than any of the other exploiters? Because I guess I should probably be happy that I don't have the same level of following that the gentleman I mentioned last week does. Because they were like attacking him, he must be banned from all conferences, and like, yeah, all the conferences where you guys make your money and the cash cow takes a hit if somebody starts pointing out BS. I get that perfectly. But funny enough, they were willing to like have him, they were talking about getting him onto a skeptics conference though, where it's okay to call BS because you're dealing with skeptics. And again, I can already see the water. But let's see if we get a little closer. But you get into this mossy stuff right here, hard down, this stuff. And it's like walking on a waterbed, and you actually do have some indents here. Okay, it's a little drier here, but you're gonna have to go through all this undergrowth stuff here to get anywhere. And the way I was going is easier, so we're going to continue to do that. We can get an overhead shot with a drone later if it doesn't rain. And the weatherman's already lied to me about that, because it was supposed to like stop raining, and since I've been here it's been doing like this misting thing where it's not raining but it's slowly soaking you for later. Oh yeah. Ah, you son of a bitch. Feeling for my... What the hell? Sorry. Fighting with the grabber bushes again. I was reaching for my glasses, think I lost them, and oh yeah, I put them in my pocket. Sorry for the interruption, difficulties, and environmental obstacles. So the last time I tried to come through this thing, it was July, a couple years ago, and it was a lot thicker. So right now it's a lot easier. Something to be said for patience doing some of these hikes post-autumn, or not autumn, August, sorry, brain fart. And things kind of thin out a little bit and you can cover some ground in here and have a look around. I'm going to try to maintain a parallel and get to the back side of this for ha-has, but which isn't really that hard. As you can see, if the camera will stay level, it's not that hard. The grabber population is much less in here, so we will. This camera apparently doesn't have the clock like the other one does. I could kind of cheat and tell the time by way of that, but we'll just keep going and recording. Yeah, so I guess that's really all that's going on, and it's like I said though, it's a slow subject, so you don't have new news every day unless it's like some jackass who's trying to push his blob picture of the week. So that's really nothing new. I'm not going to go too far in if I don't find anything, only because sense of direction and such. New Manitow has showed me that you can go in a ways and get turned around just enough to start having that feeling of being lost kick in, because you this is not nearly as hard as that area, but in that area, like I said many a time, you can't go really in a straight line because the terrain just won't let you do it. This isn't completely perfect either, but I do know that if basically I head back that way, I will hit the way out and be on back to camp. Whereas New Manitow, you start winding. I thought following that stream would bring me right to the pond that I have yet to hit. I know how to get there now, but fact is that this could be interesting. Not really proof of anything, but I will take a picture of that, so I'll be back in a moment. I had hoped that I wouldn't have as many bugs, and mosquitoes seem to have found me, though, even though I have DEET covering me. It doesn't mean they're not going to try. Go a little further in here, because that was, I'm not saying that was a track, but it's like one of those things in the mud way back here that's interesting enough by itself that you take a picture of it and kind of see how you feel about it. It could be any one of a number of things. That's why you look around for more, so you have like an example of them. God forbid you find a freaking trackway or something in here. But if I do a night sit out here, I am going to freaking pack up on DEET some more. That is a definite. Some kind of a clearing or just a shift in the tree life. Yeah, the type of trees are shifting, I guess. Walk over and take a look, see if there's anything else to see in here. Otherwise, we might make our way out again before I get too far in here. But I'm gonna look over at this muddy spot. You can tell it's damp. You got all kinds of mushroom life in here. Again, mushroom geeks would like it in here. I don't really see anything here. I just put my foot down and it's actually kind of pressing back up. So I actually guess it's not that freaking ideal for this, for making tracks. Yeah, I'm going to walk over just to where this is and see if this is actually like some kind of a clearing, like the far corner of the wetland, or what this is. Because it does open up. Are you a meadow? What are you? Let's have a look. Maybe a stream bed or something. Nope, it's the road. All right, so I guess this is where our journey ends. Okay, interesting. So we're gonna end this here and head towards where the trail is then. So for your amusement, we're on the trail now. I was talking about going in a straight line. I walked all the way around in a big U, basically. Kind of hard not to find the humor in that. And so we're heading uphill from where my camp is. It is basically down that way, although you can't see it through the undergrowth, but somewhere in here, and this is again one of those things where you have the myth of the forest clearing. I don't know if you catch that, but it makes it look as though you're coming up on some kind of a wetland or an outlying open area. And excuse me, the Google Maps does kind of point in the direction there's something out here, but rather than go on a charming goose chase to nowhere, no one's been in this campsite for a while. You get the drone in the air and put it up a couple 100 feet, and that will tell you the tale. Go up here a ways and see if there's anything interesting. Another nice thing about this area too is that at night you're basically the only campsite around, so there's really nothing around you to intrude. Nothing puts bigfooting to an end faster than having a second set of campers on you that are there to basically partake of beer consumption and the like, and basically be rowdy. There was a year we had a expedition with Nezra, and they I'm just gonna walk around this because that's way too steep. Poorly timed planning. Everybody had to do what they could with their schedules, but the campers next door had a dog, and they really just had no consideration in controlling their dog. So their dog is roaming in and out of their camp and ours, and got very irritating. Not only could you not really do anything as far as like field research, but like these people just had no consideration at all. So there are other sites I like too, but had this one been taken that I have, I would have maybe gone to where the electrical area is, but stay the hell away from that specific zone. But the thing is, there's a site right on the hill up there. Last couple times I've been there, somebody else has been there too, so you might have unwanted company. So c'est la vie with that. Wondering if the rain has finally gotten over itself as I jinx it. Yeah, we'll go up the hill a ways, but if I don't see anything of any, there's a moose track, but I always find moose tracks. Nothing of any particular interest. We might instead. There's kind of a cool tree break right there. But you may not get signs of life until later. This is just what kind of like what I call a proximity sweep, where one, you kind of make your presence known if anything wants to get curious later, and two, you like that one maybe track is kind of interesting, but fucking deer heads. And again, for those that are new to the channel and don't know what a deerhead is, it is an invasive Chinese insect that looks, for all the world, like a tick with wings, but it is not an arachnid, it is an insect. Look closely, note the wings, count the legs. You will find that it has 6, not 8. That being said, they have all the same habits, minus allegedly the disease. They do bite and suck blood, but having been bit by them a couple of times, one, the bite doesn't really itch, and two, the I might call it here only because it's going to get deeper and it's all waterlogged, and again, I don't feel like getting soaked with it getting cooler later. You're at that point now where the downward turn in the temperature is going to be that way, so I'm going to try to minimize sweat. And it might sound like I'm being lazy, but that's actually smart hiking. It'll give the sweat a chance to dry before we dip into the 50s. The weather app said it's going to dip down to about 56. Typically that means in town. We're up in the hills. So I would count on 56 maybe being 50, 49, which, well, not cripplingly cold if you are wet is enough to make life suck and potentially like give you risk of exposure and that kind of thing. So knowing, and again, hiking was not really my major focus today. If you want the honest truth, I'm basically leaving an old job and starting a new job during the week, and I needed to burn some vacation time, which is why I'm out on a Friday, not a Saturday. But in the course of doing so, next week they need me to do some things to wrap up before I leave, so I don't have the time that I would have liked to camp or do things outdoors next week, so I'm doing them this week. Long story short. But again, hiking is secondary to just kind of checking out the overall area to see what is or isn't about. That one trackling, I'll just call it a tracklet, dent in the wooden floor, in the woodland floor that looks like it could potentially be a track, but it's the only one there. That being said, I also did a quick field experiment where I tried to do a track in like the muddy wet stuff, and it's more waterlogged leaves. So basically what will happen is you make the dent, but then the water starts to rise and pushes the leaves back up with it, so it kind of disguises the track. And as a result, it might be the only track you have, although there might be others there. That said, though, it doesn't have like the toe and then the boot heel kind of an obvious thing. When you see a well done boot print in the mud, it's pretty obvious, because you'll have, it looks almost like a double segmented peanut thing, where you have the toes on one half and smaller and rounder the heel on the back, because that's how a boot is made. But yeah, so I had to kind of change my plans. I'm not going to get to burn all my vacation time, because it's just one of those things where you're being the good soldier on the way out. Work ethic thing where the guy they should have gotten all the knowledge from left last week, and they didn't do that. So the new guy that came in and took charge, long story, I'm going to stop saying that because it's getting repetitive, is asking that they actually get what they know from me, and I'll because I don't leave the job with any animosity. I don't. It's just I got a better offer closer to home, for anyone who's curious why. You know, they get it. Less commute, more money. That's not hard to understand. But that's the situation, and as a result of that, I guess we're going to do this the hard way this time. That's the timing of the week. I got out. They said I could take today, so I got out today. We're doing a camp out today. The weather's not quite as ideal as I had hoped, but it's seemingly stopped drizzling. It's also why I kept the firewood in the car, and if it is going to rain, I don't really need it getting any wetter than it is, so I can get the fire going with minimal BS. And try a couple of new toys that I got. One of which, I was hoping to have another one. I got one that's supposedly coming from Amazon today, but with the supply chain things going on nationally, that is, I don't know how many people work in businesses that are affected by this, but it goes some kind of a quail and or hawk. If you wonder why I'm hucking, this stuff right here, this goldenrod stuff, that is my allergen. For those who want, and of course it's everywhere this time of year, so that's why if you wonder what that noise is, that's what that is. Just to let you know. On the other hand, though, because less so than hello bumblebee. Yeah, that is. Look at this flower right here. He's got a bumblebee in there. He's got like 4 or 5 different, some kind of fly thing too. But that's a busy flower right there. Got a bumblebee, some kind of, what is that? Maybe some kind of sweat bee, some little hornet looking thing, and a fly. And they're some kind of nectar sucking fly, and they're all beating on the pollen on that thing. Actually, the one next to it too has got those little sweat bees on them. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The reason I know what those are is I have a garden on my deck at home, and the onion plants have become colonized by sweat bees, if you've ever heard of that. And basically, they don't build a hive. They burrow into the ground, so they impair my onions from growing, but they pollinize. They seem to like pollinate my tomatoes and my bell pepper plants, so I kind of just let it go. It's kind of like a little nature experiment going on in one of my planters. They don't seem to hurt anything beyond a point, so not a big deal. It's kind of like with a year that I found out where I could get praying mantis eggs, and I used them as kind of like a natural defense of the garden. I think I ended up hatching like 100 of those over the course of like 3 waves of them, and basically released a whole bunch of voracious predators into the environment for the betterment of my garden and the detriment of the fly population. But since I have such a grudging love of flies, hold on, what might you be? Somebody trying to bite me. Camera just did something weird. Basically, we're finishing up anyway. Yeah, so I hatched about 100, give or take, or so, praying mantises and put them into the ecosystem and things like that. If I could do the hydroponics version, I would have like dragonflies too, because that's land, sea, and air. That'd be pretty cool. Dragonflies are a pretty cool bug too. But let's see here. We got nothing really here, but this is an area that'd be good for checking for tracks in the morning, right around the corner from camp. I'm going to go right now, return into camp and get camp started. Later, there might be fireside chat. There may be roadside checking for signs of life. With a fire going, I'm not going to wander too far, but we'll see what I can get. I'll probably put the drone in just to like get a intro, outro for the video too, just to kind of give you a look at the wetland. And supposedly, again, there's wetlands over that way, but I'm not going to gauge going through that unless I know exactly where I'm going, because nothing annoys me more than trekking through the undergrowth only to find nothing. I've tried to look for them before and I've come up empty. But having the cheat of a drone in the air at like 300 feet in the air, maybe you get to see where the hell they are and you can angle in. that's kind of how I found my way into the pond in the other area in New Manitou. But I digress, and we are going to take a break for the sake of saving camera, and we'll come back later for a nighttime segment. Either on the night vision binoculars. I think they do audio. I think. Don't hold me to that, but we'll figure out some kind of a mix of audio and video with that. If not, and we will be back later. Thanks. Just a quick update from earlier today. We got the drone up. The mountain fog was a lot lower than we thought. So basically, weird thing happens when you have a drone up in the fog. It wants to land. So I had to bring it down under some interesting conditions and landed it. We've since had a visit from the game warden. He's doing fire check or something, and beyond that, nothing really. We're getting owl calls, but nothing really new. I'm going to bring out the night vision binoculars fairly soon, and we'll see where we go from there. Just a quick update. The drone wanted to land about 180 feet up. That's not a good thing. So we are going to continue doing some fireside chat if things warrant, and see if we can lure something in fairly soon. All right, so we're going to put another log on the fire. We'll check in a little bit and do these throughout the night if it warrants. All right. So it's probably a little bit after 8 right now. So I've got a bird off to the right's making some kind of noise. We've had some owl calls. There's something moving across the street from me. Probably just an animal. Just a check-in. I told you I'd do like some fireside check-ins. Nothing really to talk about right now. Just checking in. Spritzing light rain. But when I say spritzing, that's what I mean. It's like not even really drizzle. The fire's holding up, and we'll see where we go. That's it for now.